In the last section, we put together a car object and we added one method to it. Let's extend this example a little bit more by adding an object that will inherit from car. So we can set up that kind of prototypal linking, and then we'll refactor it to use ES6 classes, and we're going to say, gee whiz, this is a lot more straightforward with ES6. So again, my goal here is to add a new object. So I want a new object. We're going to make a particular model of a car. So like, we'll say a Toyota. We'll make a Toyota, and I want it to inherit from this car object. So we'll create our constructor first, and we'll say that it will take some number of options as well. And we'll say that whenever we create a Toyota, it must be provided an option of the color of the car. So maybe we'll say this .color is coming from options.color. So now I'm gonna take out some of the code that we have down here. So I'm not gonna make a car anymore. Say instead we'll make a Toyota, and it'll be a new Toyota with a color of red, and I'll still give it a title, and we'll make this one a, I don't know, daily driver. So now if I log the Toyota, you'll notice that right now I've only got a color of red. So my intent here, what I really want to do is have a Toyota inherit all the properties and methods of a car, because a Toyota is a car. So I need to somehow forge a link between these two things. So let's add in some code that's going to delegate Toyota to be able to call all the methods that a car has. So this is where, again, we're going to start going into the realm of code that not quite relevant for this course. So I mostly just want to throw the code up on the screen and point out how ridiculous it looks. And then we're going to refactor it right away to ES6. And we're going to say, wow, this is much more legible, easier to understand and kind of comprehend what's going on. So I'm going to add the code to hook up Toyota to car. And we're just going to kind of look at it and say, this is not fun to write. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is whenever I call Toyota, the constructor, I want to make sure that I run any initialization that occurs in the car as well. So now that I hook that up, you can see that I've got both a title and a color whenever I create a new Toyota. And then I also want to make sure that I can call Toyota or car's drive method from a Toyota object. So to do so, again, I'm going to put on some crazy looking code. We'll take the Toyota prototype, and it's going to be a duplicate of the car prototype. And then we're going to fix up this constructor like so. And now I would expect to be able to add a method to Toyota's prototype. Maybe this one will be honk. And we can return beep. And so now finally, my Toyota, let's put a break line in here. So here's my Toyota object. I should be able to call both Toyota.drive and Toyota.honk, like so. And so, yep, I got vroom and beep down here as well. So clearly, Toyota is inheriting some level of configuration or setup that is coming from car. And I just want to, again, I don't want to explain all the stuff that's going on here. I just want to point out that this stuff is ridiculous, right? Look at all the boilerplate we have in here. What is the prototype? Why do I have to use object.create? Why do I have to assign Toyota's prototype and then immediately assign the constructor back to Toyota? Like, why? This doesn't make any sense to me. And perhaps it makes a lot of sense to you, but certainly I can imagine that anyone who's coming into JavaScript as a new engineer is going to look at this kind of stuff and say, why is setting up prototypal inheritance so hard? Why is it so hard to do object-oriented programming with JavaScript? And so that is exactly what classes are meant to solve. Let's continue the next section and take our car object and our Toyota object and refactor it over to use an ES6 class.